when it's nights like this, I really wanna be right here. I really wanna take you there.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Aisha and Sam's vlog.
Come on.
We're back again with another video, and I know it's been a long 3 weeks, and some of you have been asking when we're going to bring out a new video.
We're back.
we
Wait.
have
Haven't you noticed something? The reason why, I'm back now, because the haircut, you see, nice shape. Right now, they do the curly. That will be back for the next video. But right now, look, the high top, get me, I'm growing the fro, and the beard's growing as well.
Okay.
But let's get back to seriousness.
We were just obviously sorting things out in our own personal lives, and sometimes you just need a break from things. We're human, just like you guys. But back to our video anyways, and thank you to those that are subscribed to us for the first time. We hope that you enjoy our journey as Aisha and Sam's vlogs, and to those that are returning, hey y'all. So as you can see from the title of our video, we will be talking about the loss of our fathers. Many of those who are new to our channel, even those that are returning subscribers, they probably don't know the ins and outs of how me and Samson lost our fathers. But to family and friends that was obviously in our lives at those times, they would understand the pain we went through. And in no way are we looking for any sympathy. We've both, as two individuals, grown and healed from this. If anything, it's made us really stronger. And it's beautiful because it's something that we can both share together, as sad as it is.
It's a unique experience.
It's a unique experience for both of us.
In a way, it was a blessing in disguise because it gave us like appreciation of life. Like we appreciate life, both of us. So you gotta just see it as a blessing. But at the time, it was tough to deal with, and we're gonna explain that during this. But we're gonna show you how it's structured the way we are now and the thinking what we have.
So I lost my dad at 19.
And I lost my dad at 10.
So for Samson, that was such a short period of time that his dad was obviously gone from his life. And for me, unfortunately, although I had my dad up until I was 19, there was one moment in my life, which is when he basically passed away, that kind of changed my life for the best, I would say now. At the time, it was heartbreaking, it was emotional, it was everything. You can imagine the emotions somebody, especially a 19-year-old girl going to university for the first time, you know. I had both my mum and my dad coming with me on that journey, and I'm happy that I got to experience certain parts with him because that was something that I'm glad he was able to see me do, if that makes sense. He was the only person that if I had to do anything for, it would be him and my mum. So I was so happy that he was able to actually witness me go to university at least. Now, I was basically, like I said, in my university in Southampton. And I just remember I got a phone call from my mum saying that I needed to rush down to London because my granddad had an eye operation. Now, bearing in mind, I was thinking, why do I need to leave Southampton to go to London for my granddad for an eye operation? Like, my granddad's a strong man. I'm thinking in my head, he'll be all right, like, you know. So anyways, 2 days passed. My mum said, like, I really do suggest you go to London because it sounds like it's important. And I think that took me back to when she said, I think it's important. I just thought, well, if I got to lose, let me just go to London. Does that make sense? If my granddad needs me, let me just go to London. He specifically asked for me to be there, so I've had to go. One thing I will say, guys, is always listen to your instincts. 100%. If something's saying something to you in the back of your head, even if it's a person or even if it's your own thinking, listen to it.
Follow your instincts all the time. Trust me. Like, only you know. Like, you will feel an inner feeling. If you're doing something because someone else is telling you to do it and your heart's telling you no, don't do it. Like, just follow your heart.
So I've left Southampton to go to London now to go and see what all this big noise is about, because in my head I'm thinking this is ridiculous, but I'm here now, so let's go find out. I went straight to my grandma's house, and when I got there I noticed she was on the phone, but she had her back towards me. But I just remember her saying his eldest daughter's here now, so I've got to go. So I was still thinking, like, I don't think I took that moment in properly until I started to see my dad, which I'll explain further. So basically, we've gone to the house, I've seen my dad because I basically made a big fuss back at my grandma saying, look, none of you are explaining what's going on. I'll come to see granddad, he's not here. What is this big noise about? I wanted to go and see my dad. So when I said that, they were still very quiet as well, which made me think something's going on. Does that make sense? Because this is not right. You're all being so quiet and touchy on this topic, which I don't understand. So we've gone to my dad's house now. At my dad's, obviously, is my little brother, my sister, my stepmom that live there. My sister at the time was studying for a GCSE, so I didn't really speak to her much, actually, when I think about it. I wasn't really speaking to her much in regards to how everybody was at home. But I took everyone was good. You know, I'm assuming everyone's fine, basically. So when I walked into the room, I said, where's my dad? And obviously my grandma was like, he's in the room. So I went into his room, and literally before I even walked in, guys, the state of my dad, like in regards to how he looked, I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked.
That must have been a crazy feeling.
I was so shocked when I saw him because his face had gone so skinny. His skin colour had turned really like brown and grey. It just didn't look like my dad. That's not who I just saw 3 months ago, if that makes sense. I went to uni in September and I saw my dad in January. So that was like a huge gap. Like, what's happened? So anyways, he basically broke the news down that he was the reason that called my mum. He called my mum to tell her to try and get me down so that I wouldn't have to hear the news from anybody else that my dad had cancer. So I cried. Oh God, guys, I cried because I was thinking, what do you mean you've got cancer? Like, how? You know, how? It just doesn't make no sense. How? So he basically sat me and my sister down and he explained to us that he had cancer. He had melanoma. At the time, I think it was stage 3. I'm not too sure because, like I said, I was in uni. So half the times when things were going on behind the closed doors, I had no idea because I'm just out here trying to, get my university degree. But obviously things back home is happening as well, which I'm not aware of because no one's alerting me. So I had no idea. So it just made sense that my dad's been ill for a while, but he specifically wanted to tell me and my sister than us hearing from anybody else.
Wow. That was crazy. But you gotta understand that families do try to protect, like, the children. Like, even with my family, the whole story of how I found out was, I didn't even find out until my father actually passed away. So I didn't really know that my father was that ill. I didn't take it serious. The first sign which I saw leading up to the whole, before my father passed away, was seeing blood. Yeah, I saw blood all over the wall. So I was thinking, oh, my dad's cut himself. They said that they've took my dad to the hospital. We've gone to the hospital. I thought, all right, he's gonna heal the cut and whatnot, and he'll come back home. It was a good couple months now. So, good couple months, my dad's still in the hospital. I'm none the wiser. I'm 10 years old. I've just finished year 5. So it's summer holidays and just playing out. And then all of a sudden, my mum's put me into like a summer school. And the summer school, every day we just go on trips. So we don't learn nothing. We're just strictly going on trips,
Not
like having fun.
That's what you guys enjoy doing.
Yeah, so at the time, 1 minute we're going to a theme park. I think that was the first time I went to a proper theme park. So we went there, and then we went to a residential in Shropshire. I will never forget Shropshire just because of that whole moment of my life. I'll never forget Shropshire. So residential, we was there for a good couple of days. We came back. And then I remember we were so excited to go to Colchester Zoo. It was Colchester Zoo. It was a day with Colchester Zoo. Big up Luke, because he'll remember this moment. It was going to Colchester Zoo, and me and my brother were basically getting ready. We're getting ready. I remember I woke up that day and I made Milky Way chocolate spread sandwiches. I was so excited. I woke up. There's a lot of people in my house. Bear in mind, there's a lot of people in my house during this day. So like, I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, where is everyone? But I didn't care. I wanted to go Colchester Zoo. So I'm minding my own business. Didn't pay no attention to all the people in the house. Made the chocolate spread sandwiches, packed my packed lunch, my brother's packed lunch, getting ready to go. I was still in the kitchen, and my brother was in the kitchen with me. They've called us to come to the living room. All right, I'm walking to the living room. I'm seeing my mum cry. I'm thinking, what's going on? All right, cool. What's going on here? My mum's crying. Who done something to my mum? That's what was my intentions. And I've gone over to my mum. My mum's got to tell me something. That's what everyone's telling me. But no words are coming out my mum. My mum's looking at me and my brother, and she's crying. And as soon as she's looked at me and my brother, she's crying more. So me and my brother just started crying because our mum's crying and she's not telling us why she's crying. So I'm crying. I don't know why I'm crying. I'm scared. I'm 10 years old. I don't know what's going on. Then let's say it was a good 5 minutes of that. And my mum just broke down to me and my brother and said, your dad's gone to heaven. I'm thinking, my dad's gone to heaven, okay, but he's coming back though, like, yeah.
What do you know, it's a 10-year-old?
Yeah, then obviously the shock, at that time I knew what death was. So as soon as they said, he's dead, that's when everything, I realized, oh my God, I've lost my dad. And I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to feel, honestly. So while still sorting out the funeral and everything, it took like a week. So a week until we found out that my dad's passed away until the funeral. So they moved me and my brother to our cousin William's house, and we spent like a week there. Me, William, Aubrey, Kingo, Battle. There was like 5-6 of us in there. And it was just fun day. It was just fun, constantly fun. I knew my dad passed away, but I was enjoying time. I was 10 years old. I'm playing with my friends. I'm here. We're playing PlayStation. We're going out playing football, doing everything what I loved. I didn't even think they realized that my dad
passed away.
Yeah, I don't think they realized
I think because of how young you was as well.
Yeah.
You know, as a 10-year-old, you take to pain differently than a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old, even a 14-year-old, because you're able to adapt to life and to know what it is. So as a 10-year-old, all you're going to do is, okay, you've heard the bad news, but you're not going to mourn the way maybe an older person would mourn, because you're going back to fun the next day, so your mind's been taken off.
I remember the day of the funeral was just crazy for me, because before the funeral started, I had an uncle come to me and say, you're the man of the house now. That statement, it was probably the best statement for my life, but for the moment, it wasn't the best statement for me. Let me tell you why. Because I didn't get to mourn there and then at the funeral because of that. As soon as he told me I'm the man of the house, I really lived up to that on that day. Like I said, you know what, today, the funeral, I'm not crying. Everyone's reading out the eulogies. I'm not crying, I'm still staying firm. My brother's crying, my mom's crying, I'm staying firm. I'm like, I'm gonna hold it. I was going everywhere, still not crying. I even lifted my dad's coffin to the grave. I was 10 years old. 10 years old. 10 years old, they put me at the front. I think I need to go and tell my mum to go and archive and find a photo. But 10 years old, I was there, lifting the coffin. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm keeping strong until they gave me the dust. When they gave me the dust, that's when I said, you know what, I have to drop my tears because this is too much. My dad's there, like I'm letting go of it. And I wasn't ready to let go. At the age of 10, I'm not ready to let go. This is the guy that made me.
But you know one thing I will say about Samson's dad, even though I never ever got to meet him, he literally raised the best man ever, honestly. I always say to him, I always say to you, babe, that, you know, your dad, honestly, I wish I met him, because he has raised a really, what you call a gentleman. Like, me meeting Samson was not by mistake. And I've always said that our whole journey was never a mistake. And just to know that I share that with my partner, that we both lost something that meant so much to us, I think that's what gets us by every day. Just knowing that we don't want to ever lose out on each other, because we know what pain feels like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really makes our love so different and genuine. But I remember my situation now after I've obviously found out my dad in the living room and he's in his room. I've just processed everything. I remember I was just sitting down and I was just thinking to myself, what do you mean the guy's got cancer? Because me and my dad, we banter so much. Like, our relationship, everyone knows us. People think it's rude, but that's just how we are. We've always got that little banter. And I'm just thinking, this guy, like, he said he was going to be there for me. Do you know what I mean? He said he's going to be there for me. And like, when I think back to things like now that I'm with Samson, things like marriage, he won't see. Things like our first child, he won't see.
That's crazy.
Even the same with Samson as well. But
like, it's crazy for us. Yeah,
granddads, sorry.
Yeah, grandfathers.
God forbid, granddads.
So imagine this: in like our children, we're gonna have to one day break down to them that you'll never be able to see any grandfather. It's crazy, but that's what we're gonna have to break down one day. And
that's gonna be a really hard day.
It's definitely gonna be hard because a lot of kids are gonna be going off to their grandparents' house and they're always gonna see a grandparent. Maybe not both, but they will always see a grandparent. Like even me, I'm lucky enough to see both my grandparents. However,
our child will only be able to see the grandmoms.
And but they're both amazing. We've got two amazing mothers.
We love them to bits. They're amazing. They do everything for us. We love them. But yeah, I just remember saying to my sister, like, why does he look like this, basically? And why have you not told me? Do you know what I mean? Like, you live with him. Because my sister lived with my dad and my stepmom and my little brother. And I'm thinking to myself, you see him every day. But then I realised she was saying to me, you don't see him the way I see him. To me, she said to me, was when she sees him in the morning, it's like seeing him every day. He looks normal to her. Obviously, my dad had something else alongside cancer. He had something called, what do they call this thing? It begins with C. Crohn's. He had Crohn's. So he was battling so much to himself. My dad is such a private person. Like, he would rather get on with things. And if it really got to the point where he needs help, he will speak about it, if that makes sense. And I believe that is why eventually he had to talk to me and my sister, because he could not leave this world without telling us himself he had cancer. So I remember that time I was in my first year of uni. I failed a few exams. I remember I was just struggling, literally. My mind was not there. Mine was not on going to a lecture and sitting down for an hour. Like, that was the last thing I wanted to do. But in the back of,
you made it through.
That's the good thing. The only good thing about everything during those first year, second year, was the fact that I graduated at the end. And I did it most importantly for my dad, because when I did go to university, I remember I was so happy and I was full of enjoyment. I just had that spirit in me that I was going to do well. So I knew that I needed to carry on that and have that same spirit towards the end. And I'll tell you truthfully, that is the only reason why I finished university, because of my dad.
A blessing, that's a testimony.
Yeah. And after that, honestly, I want to just speed up a few things. When I got to the hospital, I remember he was still okay. He was in hospital at this point, so that he's got sick again during the other times, and this time they put him in hospital. And I remember I dyed my hair green. I think I dyed it like dark green or green, I can't remember. But my dad hates hair colours, by the way. He hates it. He hates it. Anything that's blue, green, yellow, don't
and
come
then
to the house.
You went with green. All the colours.
But the thing is, my cousin told me that Ish, because that's my nickname, she was like, Ish, you need to come down, you know, it's serious. So the last thing I'm thinking about is taking my wig off because of my dad. I'm going down there with my wig on and my hat. I had like a fisherman hat on. And I remember I just ran down the hospital corridor running. And then I saw him and he was still in the bed and he just looked so fragile and just frail. But he managed to see me and he was smiling. And I was like, you're right, Dad. I remember I went over and kissed him. And then he was like to me, he's still got on that freaking green hat. And I said, hat? He said, heck. And I remember his voice went so low. You couldn't hear what he said, but I could understand what he was saying. Basically, why the hell is my hair green? And I remember that was all he was going on about the whole time. And I'm thinking, look, rest, you're in hospital. My hair is not a priority right now, do you know what I mean? Just forget about it. So me and my family members, we all took turns. We went in and out of the hospital because, you know, you can't always be there together. So you got to take it in turns to let different members in. I remember me and my sister and my cousins went back to my auntie's house because ever since me hearing that my dad's basically ill / passing away, I never found comfort in going back to Southampton. I literally left uni for a bit to go and be with my family because I couldn't focus anymore. It got to the point where I could not focus. So when I went back to my auntie's house the next day, we were all just talking. I remember me and my sister and my cousins like, this is mad, you know, like what is going on? Do you know what I mean? Like what is going on? And the next day, we went to go and visit my dad. He wasn't talking at all. And that's when it hit me that things have gone bad, you know, from the previous night to when I saw you now, you're not talking, you know what I mean? Now it's like his whole skin had gone so dark, you know. My dad's like not a light skinned man, but he's not dark skin, he's in between. So if you knew what his colour was and his complexion,
brown skin.
if you saw his complexion, you would know that he looks totally different. So fast forward all of that, guys, my dad basically passed away. And like that,
even I thought that right now.
and basically that was a lot for me to deal with. I don't want to cry because I am kind of, well, I'm over it, but yeah, just for talking about that part would obviously make anyone feel sad. But yeah, he passed away, and it made my family stronger in a way, but it kind of did break us because my dad was the backbone for all of us. He held us together. He was the structure, if that makes sense. So imagine missing a structure to a family. It leaves the parcels and everything all over the place. So he's passing away did cause us a lot of heartbreak, I'm not gonna lie. But in everything, I get to go through this journey with my husband to be, and that is what makes me feel happy that, you know, we both have this journey together and we both embarked on 2 different journeys. Okay, I was 19 and he was 10.
It don't matter. The age, the time, nothing changes the feeling of losing a father. And to meet someone which is the experience, it's an unfortunate blessing to have.
Yeah.
Because we both share the same pain. I would wish and pray that I could turn back time and let her not feel this pain which I feel, but I'm blessed to have someone which knows the pain which I feel. And I'm not saying that people won't understand how I feel because they won't.
No, everyone feels
because
different.
they haven't lost their father. No,
Yeah.
because just because I've lost my father, some people could feel the same pain which I feel through losing a cat.
Yeah, no,
you should never ever comment on like
anyone's feelings,
Yeah.
anything they've lost. Definitely, I think 100% what you're saying there is true. But, you know, what we're both going to do, by the way, sorry guys, is we're going to leave some pictures towards the end of our video, because there are some funny moments that we've had with our dads, and I can't lie, there's one picture of me where I vomited all over my dad, and honestly, their memories like that, that I will share to my kids and let them know that this is what I was doing with your granddad, because, you know, since a child, I've always just been a joke. But
can you say you've always been a joke?
I'm a joke because I'm a happy person. I'm full of laughter. I'm full of jokes. I'm everything. Do you know what I mean? But we're gonna leave some pictures of our fathers, let you guys see them, and I'll show you some pictures of my dad with my sister when he was very, very ill, just so you guys can get into a bit of our lives. You know, I don't want to hide anything from you guys.
There's a few things what I could say I took from like my father, like during that short time which I had with him. Like, he showed me how to become a man. I know I have kind of complicated my roots sometimes, but however, I've always stuck true to my morals and my principles of certain things, and that's due to my father.
Yeah.
I've always had love for whoever. Like, I'm not a person which holds on to things. You can answer. I let go of anything. If you got an issue with me, we can tackle it there, and then move on from it. I move on from things. I don't hold no grudges with no one. I don't have no hatred for no one. That's something which I learned from my father. My father had no enemies. He had no one that disliked him. He was just himself. So just he taught me, stay in your own element and just keep it true to the people you love.
Yeah.
Like, don't play no facade with them.
Keep it real.
Yeah, just keep it real. If they don't, if someone which you keep it real with don't value what, like, say that I told you something, or I'm telling you my business. If you don't value how much I appreciate you, that I am telling you my business, then I don't mind what you do after.
Yeah.
Like, that's the end of our friendship, but I don't mind. Like, I understand that. But if it's family, then I'll get over that, because I have to stay true to who I love.
Yeah. Yeah, but guys, we hope you enjoy this video. We hope that you get to see us in a different light. It's not every day we don't joke around every day. We are quite serious. But this one was a long overdue video that we said, you know what? we're doing so well so far with our little journey that we've just started. Why don't we actually explain to you guys something new and something personal to us that's obviously something we've been through.
We didn't want to go into too much detail because
that,
if we went into detail,
my eyes would be red.
That would have been like an epic movie. You lot would have been like, oh, how are you lot still living?
Yeah, literally. no, honestly though, because I'd be bawling my eyes out. It'd be too. I'd have to close the video down. But
it was just something brief for you. You lot get to understand us, our point of view of having lost our fathers. And we'll also like to wish you lot a happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's Father's Day, so we wish you guys a happy Father's Day. And to those that are becoming new fathers,
we wish you lot the best. Congratulations.
Best. And to all the fathers out there, grandfathers, uncles, all of you brothers, nephews, happy Father's Day. And it's bye for now, guys. And we'll see you on our next vlog. Bye.
Come on.